folks. So we are planning to do the 4-burrow hunt Trebuddunan 1-day event on Saturday. We've just entered the 65 centimetre, thinking we'll go having no pressure. So I've learnt my dressage test, but I did also buy one of these things, which I've not actually used yet. But I am going to practice to make sure I know where I'm going. We also went to Porth Valley cross country last night to just go and have a play over some of the course, like just some of the small stuff, but it didn't quite go to plan, and I had a fairly horrific fall. So I'm taking lots of these, and I've just been to the physio and she has worked her magic. I mean, it still really hurts. And she strapped me up and she said I should hopefully be okay for Saturday, but I've got to go back next week to be looked at again, and my physio is very level-headed, like she won't make me go back unless I really need to go back. I was very, very lucky, like thank goodness I was obviously wearing a back protector because it's cross country. If I hadn't been wearing that, I think I would be in hospital right now. So anyway, I will go over what happened at some point, but I don't know, I might do it after the 1-day event, just because it actually shook me more than I thought it would. And I think I don't need to replay it at the moment until after the 1-day event so that my confidence isn't too shattered. So I realised I left it a little bit like mysterious about our fall, but basically on Wednesday we went to Porth Valley as a sort of a confidence giving round, because I was quite confident about everything except for the dressage really at that point, and dressage I was just worried about going the wrong way. So we were taking Nico to Porth Valley anyway because they've got a water complex there, so as you'll know if you've been watching our vlogs, he's not the biggest fan of water, so we thought we would take him there and try and get him used to some water. And he was actually brilliant, and I did ride him. Obviously didn't jump anything or anything like that, but I did ride him through the water and back to the trailer park, and he was brilliant. So 3-year-old, big tick. Then I came home because my instructor had another lesson with someone else, so I came home, did basically a horse swap, and then took Ellie out. So basically like warming up fine, and then after a couple of jumps, maybe like, I don't know, 15-20 minutes in, there was a ditch log combination. So I can't really remember specifically how it went, but in my head, and this is someone telling people, it was a ditch 1-stride log jump. And me being, I guess, a bit cocky now in hindsight, but you know, Ellie normally will just jump anything, so I just was like, yeah, it'll be fine, we'll go for that. Like a couple of people did the ditch first and then the log, and I was like, it'll be fine, we've done ditches before, we've done logs before, like no biggie. So just was quite confident, cocky, and obviously did a circle, went to go over it. Ellie clocked onto the log fine, like she was like going for it, and then obviously realised there was a ditch there, so I kind of felt her, like, you'll know if you know what I mean, but like she suddenly saw the ditch and was like, oh my god, there's a ditch, and then she did a proper belter of a leap over the ditch, and then because she kind of got so close to the ditch and then leapt it so big, she didn't have like the stride in between the ditch and the log, so it was almost at that point like a bit of a bounce, I guess. And she did commit to jump it, and she kind of went for it, so I started to go forward with her, but then she kind of obviously decided she couldn't make it and ducked out the side, and I obviously was already in that momentum, so I ducked out the side too, but off of her, and I actually landed sideways on the log. So thank goodness I had my back protector on, because it could have been a lot worse, and I think all the people there were quite worried that it was going to be worse. A couple of my friends were there, and my instructor's my friend as well. I don't know, one of my friends was literally like making provisions of how she was going to get Ellie home, how she was going to get my trailer and car back home, all that sort of stuff. But anyway, like, I mean, it blooming well hurt, I'm not going to lie, and it takes quite a lot for me to cry, and I wanted to cry, but I laid on the floor for a minute, more than a minute probably, and I did get up. You know, I was fine. I knew that I hadn't broken anything or anything like that. And I did get on and ride for, I don't know, the next hour or so in quite a lot of pain. And I did get back on, and you know, it hurt, so it had knocked my confidence a lot. And I was a proper fanny for the next few jumps, and Ellie refused. Absolutely nothing to do with Ellie, it was all me. Like, I was telling her with my legs to go, but with my hands and my brain and every other part of my body that I didn't want to go over it, and she knows, they know. So anyway, eventually we did get over it, and so we did the ditch first. Well, I did jump some other jumps that I'd successfully jumped first, and then we tackled the ditch and the log again, but separately. So we jumped the ditch a couple of times and then jumped the log a couple of times, and then I did get brave and put it together, and she jumped it beautifully. But I did go for just the smaller combinations for the rest of the time we were there. I mean, she doesn't need to prove anything, like the small combinations were fine. But yeah, I was a bit of a wimp. But we did spend the next hour trying to build our confidence up. But by the end of it, it did hurt so much. Oh God, I'm being attacked by Nico. Hello. It did hurt so much after that hour that I did duck out, went back to the trailer, and then had a big ugly cry in pain, basically. So the main reason that I then carried on to the one-day event was it hurt. It did hurt to ride, it really did. I got strapped up with my physio, who did an amazing job. But we all agreed I needed to do it. Oh, this is when I get kicked in the head. This is not very safe, is it? I'm going to move. And we agreed that it was probably a good idea for me to do it if I was able to ride and wasn't in too much pain, because it would hopefully, where is he? It would hopefully then help my confidence. And it did, but I was scared. I don't know why I'm pausing then, I'm just thinking about it. Like, I'm not going to relive it, like this is the end of it, like I'm not going to discuss it anymore. But I think we just need to remember, like, as equestrians, we do a lot. We work tirelessly to build our confidence up and our horse's confidence up, and it can be just completely trashed in a second, really. Like, Ellie did nothing wrong. I didn't really do anything wrong. Like, I probably should have had a bit more weight into my lower leg, but there was nothing really horrendous that we did wrong, but it went wrong. And it is a risk. But we have to remember that it's not always about going and getting like the frilly ribbons. Sometimes we have to go out and just try our hardest. And that was basically what the intention was on Saturday. Just wanted to go out. I did want to try, don't get me wrong, like I am a trier, I'm quite a competitive person. But the main thing was we wanted to do the dressage and the show jumping. I'd already decided if the show jumping didn't feel right, she wasn't going well, wasn't going on the cross country, because I wasn't going to take that risk. But she absolutely flew the show jumping and she was up for it. So I took her cross country. I was scared, I was nervous, but we did it. And I'm glad that I did do it in the end. But just want to say, like, if you are feeling nervous or anything, there's nothing wrong with that. We just have to keep trying, keep slogging, keep going, and eventually we'll get confident, and then something will shatter it again and we'll start the whole process again. But if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing, would it? So that's my I don't know, wisdom for this vlog. Don't give up, no matter how much it hurts. So I'm just cleaning my tack, ready for tomorrow. But look, sad. This is from when I fell off. Hoping it might come out with leather cleaner, but I think it must have been, I don't know, my stirrup flying over or something. I don't know, but it'll be sad if it doesn't come out. Wow, the dressage arenas are miles away, but we finally found them. He loves coming on walking courses with the dog, dragging him all the way. So other half, what do you think?
I think the dressage is too far away.
What about everything else?
Seems fine.
What time is it anyway?
Dog likes it.
This is terrible filming. It has taken us 6 minutes to get to the dressage, and we're not back to the lorry park yet, are we? So
6 minutes?
so far, yeah. But I think it'll be 10 minutes by the time we get to the lorry park.
From
Yeah.
up there?
Yes.
Right, yeah. It's taken a lot longer than 6 minutes to get to the dressage.
Because it's uphill.
Well, that's good.
Fun times. Dog behaving well. So boom, it's one day event day. So this is our dressage test. I have put our marks and comments in the bottom corner. We did the BE90 Dressage Test 92 2009 in a 20 by 40 metre arena. We scored 6s and above. Our highest score was a 7, but I mean that was right at the end. And I just looked at the scale of marks because we all know that I don't do this. And a 6 is satisfactory. So go us. Anyway, I was quite pleased with it because she was absolutely wired. I thought she moved quite nicely. Yeah, she looks a bit like a giraffe. But I had more comments about hollow than tense and strong. And I was expecting a lot of tense and strong. Arguably, hollow, tense and strong might be the same thing. Anyway, I was quite pleased with how she went. I think she looks quite nice. I actually didn't completely lose my brakes, which was refreshing because I really thought that I would. And I thought she went quite nicely. I couldn't bend her as well as I would have liked to have done because it just hurt too much, basically. So it'd be interesting to see how we would do when my body doesn't hurt. I think I will do another dressage test. Obviously, probably not a one-day event because there's not going to be another one-day event near us for like ever. But I might go and just do an individual dressage test and see how we mark when I'm feeling better and I can do flat work without groaning in pain. Anyway, I'll leave you to watch this, but what I will also say, because I haven't put these on the screen, there's a bit at the bottom which says collective marks, and I think that means the bit that's underneath it, but it might not. If anyone's got any dressage pointers, comment below because clearly I know nothing. So for paces, freedom and regularity, she got a 6.5. Impulsion, desire to move forward, elasticity of steps, suppleness of the back, got a 6.5 for that as well. But I mean, I think her desire to move forward is pretty strong. So, I mean, I think we should have scored higher for that. Submission, attention and confidence, harmony, lightness and ease of movements, acceptance of the bridle and lightness of the forehand. We got 6. That was probably kind. Position and seat of the ride, correct use and effectiveness of the aids. I got a 6.5, which again, I'll take that given that I could barely ride because I was in so much pain. So I think they scored us quite kindly, I'm going to say, yeah. And they had some quite nice comments though, because they said that Ellie was an attractive horse with nice active paces, which I have to say my riding instructor has told me before that she's got very good active paces, but that we must now work between a soft elastic rein and leg and bend around the rider's leg in order to develop a rounder frame, and we'll then gain many more marks. I think that's very positive, but equally she is 20 years old. We're just going out having a laugh. But yeah, I was really chuffed with that.
Dressage fun fact. You have to put lots of elastic bands in the horse's hair for some reason.
And mine.
And you have to have an uneven number because, of course, you do.
You gonna chill? Taking her plats out because we've got an hour and a half before show jumping, and she's stressing, so I want her to feel more like herself. So this is my show jumping round. Literally the minute that we went into the ring, the heavens opened. So we had a little bit of a wait because the judges were sat outside and they wanted to go back into their cars, which was fair enough, and they were very nice about it. So actually I didn't mind waiting. Normally I'd be moody about that sort of thing, but no, they were very jolly and nice. Did have a little bit of confusion over a bell because someone rang a bell somewhere else. And I was a bit worried it might be my bell, so I did went and confirm. That's not very good English. Did go and confirm. Again, very jolly, like really liked the jump judges. Actually, everyone was very nice. So yeah, didn't mind kind of hanging around. But I was conscious that the ground was just getting a bit slippery. Anyway. There were 9 jumps, including 1 double, so I think there were 10 jumps overall. I thought it was quite a nice little course. Most of it rode well. I was a little bit concerned about the double because it was, well, for us it was like a 1 stride, I think. And I was like, if we're going to get a pole down anywhere, it's going to be that second part of the double. But I shall let you watch it, but I was really pleased with this round. I did give her a little bit of a growl at those planks just because quite a few of the horses that had gone before us, I've got mouth ulcers and my back is still really bad, so clearly I can't talk either. A few of the horses before us had spooked at those planks, so that's why I gave her a little growl. She was also a little bit lucky here. She was actually quite lucky on that day. But she went really, really well. As I said, it was a little bit slippery, so on the downhill slopes I did bring her back to trot a couple of times just to make sure she didn't slip. Yeah, overall I was really happy with this. I thought it was a really nice sweet round. I think she went well. She does love her show jumping. So cross country, this was the phase I was worried about after my fall on Wednesday. There were no ditches on this course, so that was blessing in disguise because it was a ditch that made me fall off the other day. Anyway, first and second flew over. Third was this weird like milk churns on its side, and they painted it blue, which I thought would be less scary than it being silver. And I was not worried about this jump, but Ellie clearly didn't like the look of it. It actually had a lot of people out on the course, actually. Like, there were a lot of refusals at this fence, so I'm not quite sure what it was about it. Anyway, we attempted to go over it again and she flew over it the third time, and in a way I think it probably helped because it made me even more determined. So then she flew over the fourth, which I was a little bit apprehensive going towards, obviously, because she just refused the third one. but she did fly over that. And then number 5 was this weird, like, thick log. You'll have seen the picture of it. For some reason, I did not like the look of it, but she flew over that. And then the next bit was a step up and a step down, which was the thing I was most scared about, I think, because of the whole ditch log scenario when I fell off. But she was absolutely fine, and which is what I hoped, because, you know, by that point your adrenaline's running. She did then look at this jump number 7. As I said with the show jumping, she was quite lucky at everything, to be fair, but I mean, she's not a regular cross-country goer, so I can't really slate her, but she's normally not quite so lucky. And then up to fence 9, so it doesn't look that bad here, but it's actually quite a steep slope, so I did kind of tackle it going up, but we popped the little log on top, and I did actually bring her down to walk to go down the hill. It's so steep, and I just felt it wasn't worth risking her hurting anything. So just brought her back to walk. I was prepared for the time penalties, but I mean, she was absolutely flying. I was really scared of this jump here, but she was fine. Then we went over this weird little bridge, and then there's a couple of roll tops, which she flew really nicely. I was kind of growling at her a lot, like, get on, come on, but not because she needed it, more because if I say that out loud to her, my brain is getting told that we can do it. So it's kind of tricking my brain in a way. So this was fence 12. And then as we were going up to fence 13, I was aware that we were kind of gaining on the horse in front of us. But I was kind of like, well, we're too far away at the moment for me to shout. But we jumped fence 13, and then there was fence 14, was kind of like this jump where you go through the hedge. So we were bounding towards it, because Ellie was really game by this point. And then, as you can see, the steward was like, stop. So it did kind of ruin our flow a little bit, and I think it affected our time, because they told us to stop, and then a few seconds later they walkie-talkied to tell the stopwatch people to stop the stopwatch. So by that point I was like, well, I don't know what my minute markers anymore. So the pole on the top had fallen off, so they put the pole back on, and then they gave me 3 seconds to get going again, which wasn't ideal, but anyway. We then went for it, and because I wasn't sure at the time what was happening with the time, I assumed that obviously because of that delay we would have been behind the time. So when we got going again, she popped that, and I just decided we would welly it at this point to try and make sure we made the time. So the next jump was a corner jump, which actually I was really pleased, because from the photos before I walked the course I was a bit scared. It looked quite big, but actually it was quite a pleasant little jump. And then you go up around the corner, there's a jump that you can't see here, which is just like a little log pile, which was quite nice. Eventually, we reappear. There we go. And then we've just got this final little, like, wide, I don't know, I'm going to call it another log pile. It wasn't another log pile, but we know I don't know cross-country jumps. And then this final sort of poley thing. We ended up with 20 penalties, obviously, from that refusal on the third one, and 0.2 time penalties, I think. So, yeah, really chuffed with her. She was so good. So debrief with me and my girlie. Absolutely chuffed with her. We had a lovely day. I'm not sure that we are converted to be eventers just yet. Our dressage, as you will have seen, was interesting, but there was a lot going on. It was on grass, and you just like to go fast, don't you, darling? But I was quite happy with it. She didn't really go much of an outline. Yeah, she was tense and hollow, but it is I think it is genuinely like our first dressage test together. So yeah, I'll take it. 36.8 I think we had. And then show jumping, she was an absolute star, which I knew she would be because she loves her jumpies, don't you? So clear round for that. And in the cross country, we had one stop at a fence that I wasn't scared of, and then we had a few time penalties, which I think might have been incorrect, but you know, it wouldn't have, because we had the stop, the time wouldn't have been like a deal breaker, so it's not worth worrying about that now. But yeah, I am pleased as punch with her. She was a bit of a pain to load on the way home, but I think I say that on every vlog, she's a pain one way, isn't she? But yeah, really chuffed with her. Got a top 10 placing. Didn't get a frilly, sadly. They only went to 8th, but we did get a top 10 placing, which I think for our first one day event, it's pretty good. Also, disclaimer, probably our only one day event, because you've got to go miles around here to go to a one day event. Yeah, she was very good. But I think she's pleased to be home now and chilling out, because she was doing her usual, like Ellie, shaking, stressing. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed the vlog. If you like what you see, then please hit that subscribe button and give us a cheeky like. And if you've got any tips or pointers for us, productive stuff only, please pop us a comment below. Anyway, that is it for now. Over and out, but a big thank you to everyone that helped us with the one day event, because although they weren't necessarily all there on the day, I had a lot of help in the run up to it, so big love to all of you guys that helped. Anyway, as I say, over and out for now. Bye.